Welcome to Bold Talk series where creativity, leadership, ideas, innovation come together. My name is Epi Ludvik, and today I have a privilege to have a short one-on-one conversation with Soodeh Farokhi, founder and CEO at NexScale. Soodeh, great seeing you. Welcome to our Bold Talk series. How are you?
Thank you. Hi, Epi. Thanks a lot for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, great. Well, today you're working on something really interesting that I caught my attention and my team. So I said, I would love to have this conversation with you. But first, let's go back with your experience. So what experiences early in your journey shaped your conviction that technology should not just serve a large enterprise, but also empower small businesses to scale with confidence?
Sure. I think I would start with my childhood. I born and raised in a small city named Abade in Iran, and my whole family were in a STEM. So I stepped into a STEM very naturally. So the science, technology, engineering, and math. I started with software engineering. All the families, my siblings are also engineers. And even on the university, I would say women were like 70% of the engineering faculty. So, which was very interesting and very different than the norm, I would say. But I was not looking at this is not the norm. So that was for me was just like follow your passion. Doesn't matter if there's like, that minority that you can consider, STEM is not for women or so. That was initial thought that I would say build my early confidence. And then I'm, in early in my career, after a few years, I from my home country to Europe to Austria for continuing my education. And there I was in a class of, 60 people for cloud computing. I was the only woman. And I realized that, yeah, here there is bias on, some certain maybe sector or industry. And I always leverage that as I was the one to be remembered says no more being scared in that setup. So I try to leverage it to my benefit and trying to see if I'm underrepresented, I will be memorable if I talk to someone, if I go to an event, if I talk to an investor. So I leverage it from the other side, I would say. And I also years built in enterprises either for serving them or being part of them as a executive. And I realized that honestly the whole technology and the trends it's usually happening in either tech sector or for large enterprises who they have budget to spend. And then when it comes to small businesses that actually are moving the economy of all the countries, they are underrepresented, and especially the ones who are service based non-technical people usually own them. They are also, around, maybe 18% of them that are owned by women. And those are the ones that they are very kind of behind the curve of all these technologies. And I thought, considering my background, considering a woman in tech, considering being always the one at the table who is like unique in certain aspect, I actually want to go and focus and serve them. So that was like my mission of starting NextScale.
Yeah, that's amazing. So I didn't know you were coming from Iran. I love Iran. I've been there and back, like I think it was 2018 or something. We did a conference there with Crowdsourcing Week with my other
Wow,
brand, and
nice.
it was truly amazing because half of the auditorium was full of women, and they were like so speaking with a really great diligence and the question they asked. I was really amazed, and sometimes we put ourselves in a box. We think like, it's like, okay, well, the Western world has all this thing, but then, like it's not the case. Like sometimes like we just have to really think about like, hey, we shouldn't really assume. There's a lot of assumption that happens out there. Now you mentioned the city, like small city. Which city in Iran? Because I wanted to go back again.
That's interesting. So there is a bigger city named Shiraz, which is the
Yes,
name of
Shiraz,
the
yes.
wine that you might see. So everybody knows the name at least. Originally, the grapes come from that, but then it went to Australia afterwards. So my hometown is Abade, which is very close to Shiraz. So it's kind of south middle of Iran. I'm very proud. It's a very small city, but my whole childhood, my parents still there. All of my family, relatives, and extended families live there. I haven't visited that city for I think over 10 years. So I really looking forward to go and visit them again.
That's amazing. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I can imagine like how is it to be away from 10 years you're not seeing them. But yeah, definitely a great place, great culture. I'm glad that we connected. So now we have another great reason why we were connected. So now going back to your NetScale, and I really like the approach that you took here for, SMBs. I think this is this one area that is completely underserved. We a lot of the companies that build for the enterprise, and we completely forget there's a lot of need for these businesses. So you built and scaled enterprise software globally for over 17 years, yet NetScale is laser focused on SMBs and non-technical founders. What was the bold decision that pushed you to dedicate your energy, not just for this, but for the AI agentic business that you're doing?
Sure. I think I never, I would say, follow a path in my career and in my whole professional life. You know, I left my home country to achieve, a better professional future or even a future for my family. And then I leave that country. I came to Canada. I'm a proud Iranian Canadian, so I love this country as well. And I built my first company. I scaled it to the level that I could, but then there were challenges for scaling. And I said, okay, I want to grow bigger than my own company. So I left that company and joined a global enterprise company because I wanted to see how to scale. And couple of years there as a CPO, I really loved the culture. I grow with that company and I saw firsthand how to really scale at the big level. My team was bigger than my company that I previously had. And instead of then seeking for, okay, what would be the next in that setup? Because I could go to another bigger company. My path was clear, but I didn't follow the norm. I thought entrepreneurship is where I've built for, I would say. And my heart was always on entrepreneurship. I have two kids, small kids, 3 and 7. It's not easy. And I don't have support system as what I would say close family here. So I'm kind of raising them and supporting the family with my husband as my best friend. So, but at the end of the day, I was missing entrepreneurship and I wanted to build a mission driven venture for staying for, many years. And for me, the legacy is very key. What would be my legacy in my professional life? To me, entrepreneurs really need to seek areas that their expertise can have, I would say, the biggest impact. And to me, as a technical person that had gained a lot of knowledge through my product leadership role to the business, and I understood how important is solving a problem through technology instead of just being excited about the technology. With all these AI agents and all the advancements that is happening for the last, I would say, 2 years, I realized that I have built for a bigger mission. I can't just go to the up the ladder. I could, it was the secure path with a good salary, but I thought, no, my mission is to have a bigger impact, a broader impact. And that honestly helped me to quit my job. I was tough, very tough decision, but I made that decision with abundance mindset, I would say. And I stepped into the entrepreneurship to make this big impact to, a lot of non-technical founders and business owners that they would need that the most, but they are scared of it. And I guess we're going to talk about why they are scared of it, why they are skeptical, because it's so unknown to them. And I want to demystifying for them. I want to make that accessible to them so that they see it through the lens of solving problems versus just this is a cool technology to be leveraged in their business because they don't care about the technology at this stage. They want to just run their business in a better way.
Yeah. So talking about that, what have you learned about earning their trust? Because these SMB owners are skeptical of AI because it feels abstract or intimidating. What have you learned about earning their trust
Right.
and embrace technology?
I would say I would say if I approach them through the lens of just technology, it's scary to them because AI talks about, replacing human, so it's just like it's intimidating for them to know that there's something that they don't understand and I'm just talking about that things that's very black box to them and I want to like impose them to use this will not resonate. This will not fly. And I'm not even approaching this company like this. The way I approach is that I always close to them and just listen to understand their problems in the business. At the end of the day, I have run also businesses. I build it from scratch, and I know how difficult it is to have limited resources and run. Like, we're thousands hats here and there, do a lot of things. And for them, they do have a lot of other things that might be more impactful and a better time to be spent on. And versus, going through a lot of admin tasks, etc. So the very first step for me is to, first of all, advise the owners to understand the mindset, to even change that mindset to say, are you up for growth? Do you want to scale? Because some of them are moms and pops and they are like fine with the scale that they are and they don't want to even change it. So I'm not pushing those. I work with the ones that they are ambitious and they want to, for instance, they have a good branch, they want to open the next branch, but they want to do it efficiently. They want to do it in a way that their EBITDA is good, their margin is good. So I will approach them and saying, okay, let's talk to understand the bottleneck of your scale. What's the hardest operation process that you have in terms of, time consumption or resource that you need to spend a lot of, resource on? Either it's time, either it's admin, headcount, etc. And let's focus on the most impactful one for your business. Which one moved your bottom line? Which one moved your top line? Let's prioritize because we can't do it all. I won't go to a business and promise them the world because AI needs to be actually very much focus driven to say, okay, this aspect of the business, we start with this use case because my journey with them eventually will be a long lasting journey. I will act as their fractional tech AI team and their advisor down the road to their scale. And I help them to scale efficiently because we do the managed service. We don't leave it with like the whole AI and infrastructure and saying now manage it because they don't have a tech team. They don't have a tech background. So first listening, second, preparing the owner with the mindset for, okay, are you ready for this? Do you want this? Like, what would be the change management look like? The change management in a small business is the hardest part for them to manage. It's the biggest challenge for them because it's very difficult for them to change the whole process, training the staff, etc. So I start with the owner to change that mindset of see what would be the best way moving forward to scale. And then we help them to minimize the change management or handle that if it's training or if it's integration with a new solution. And we don't reinvent the wheel. I'm not going and saying, oh, we're going to build everything for you. No, if there's an existing solution, for instance, the customer relationship CRM is there, we bring it to them and integrate it into their solution. We don't need to reinvent the wheel, but we close the gaps of wherever they don't have any solution. We customize one for them. And there is not a generic solution for them to just make sure that, again, their process is fine-tuned into this. No, instead, we say what would be the way that we minimize the change management for you and we customize it for you. And so and also, again, I keep being an advisor to the business. I want them to see the opportunities and step by step, we scale them, hopefully from the second branch to more branches. And I want them to succeed, right? Their success is my success. So it's a win-win setup, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's it requires a commitment, and obviously that trust you will build over time, and people will see that the commitment is there. Not you're not there replacing the people, but scaling their expertise. How
Right.
difficult it is for you, or how time consuming is identifying the right owner that you need to do business with, because this, as you said, that they're busy, they wear many hats. It's I can understand, like, they have to take phone calls, they need to do so many things. Like, how difficult it is for you to make sure that you get their attention, they sit down and they follow through what you're building for them.
Sure. Very good question because I think whoever comes and say even an experienced entrepreneur doesn't have challenges, I won't buy it because definitely I'm feeling that. And that's a very difficult part of the business for me to handle because I used to sell to a lot of enterprises. It's very easy for me to take the call or do the LinkedIn and get connected to the, of the biggest telecommunication company in Canada. It's so easy for me because I have the network and those used to be customers of customers. This time I challenged myself. I step into the domain or sector, which I don't have access to them. I'm the client of them time to time, but I'm not, I haven't been a vendor there, right? So definitely is a challenge that I'm dealing with. And I think the way that I am overcoming it, if I may, through my partnerships. I'm good at partnerships. I'm a big believer of partnerships for small businesses, small companies, startups. And the way I do is that, for instance, I go and do partnership with a chamber of commerce. I do partnerships with, you know, nonprofit organizations that support SMBs, small and medium-sized businesses. I'll go and become a resource or a mentor on those organizations. And then through those, I will understand what would be the sweet spot look like. Again, for me, it's like small companies of probably under 100 that they are about to scale. So they have done the base of the business right. So it's not that they just started, because if they, that is also a feasible segment for me, that they start right. But typically, if they are like young entrepreneurs, they typically are very tech savvy, and so they might be in a good shape. The ones that they need the most help, I would say, those are the ones that are non-technical. They started a while ago. They are very busy right now to leverage the new technologies. So that's my sweet spot, and I'm doing all those, I would say, customer segmentation exactly to reach out to that group of people. I'm trying to build a potential event for them so that I invite them, because I'm also from the sectors, I can serve a lot of verticals. I don't want to have a generic solution for all verticals. I'm a big believer of vertically driven AI and solutions. So, and initially I started with several verticals. For instance, real estate. I built a solution. No offense to that sector, definitely is an exciting sector. But then I realized that, is that my passion? Is that something that I'm truly excited to work with those people, to serve them, to collaborate, etc.? I think there are a lot of good part of it. The money is there. There was like easy traction for me. We even had some early customers. But then that was where my passion and intuition came and fighted my entrepreneur executive mode of like getting to like success and easy money. I said, look, I quit my job. I want to build my own path. I want to go somewhere, work on something that I get excited to wake up every single day. And that actually helped me to, again, target a niche in that SMBs, that is health, wellness, fitness, personal care. That's the area I'm now focusing on. And it's very interesting because those sectors are typically owned by non-technical founders, are typically actually have the highest women-owned businesses, because those are the sectors that there are a lot of women, which as part of my personal mission statement, which I'm a diversity and inclusion advocate, I love to serve those sectors. I want to really empower those founders. So I think you started off a question of a challenge. Yes, it was a challenge. I'm overcoming that challenge through partners. And I'm realizing that I need more segmentation, and I just listen to my passion. I'm a longevity geek. I love longevity stuff. Like I go and read about those. I listen to podcasts, and I want to see how I can combine those two together. And I guess I'm focusing on the sectors which excites me. And there are a lot of similarity in terms of mindset with those people that I'm now empowering and working with. And so I appreciate that combination, I would say.
That's fantastic. Today, this is a short format conversation. I'm enjoying this conversation. We'll love to have another conversation, maybe a longer format for another time. I'd love to ask this question, and I ask this question to all my guests in these podcasts, and that is about the word bold. What does that mean to you personally?
The move bold, the bold moves. For me, I think not following the path, not staying on your comfort zone, I would say. Go where you want to build your legacy, where you want to have the biggest impact. And it's exciting for you to explore the unknown and push yourself versus staying in the known, accepting the status quo.
Yeah. Yeah. Well said. Getting uncomfortable. That's the way to go. Soodeh, it's so great seeing you. Thank you for joining this Bold Talk series. Look forward to reconnect again. Until that time, take care, be great, and be bold always. Bye bye.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for your audience to listening to me. Thanks a lot.